Hello and welcome to Merve'sBlurbs. On today's episode, I'm going to be telling you why Rintaro Okabe from Steins is the best character ever. In order to do that, we're going to have to set up some criteria. Now, Rintaro Okabe, or Okarine, or Hoouin Kyouma, as he likes to be called, is a very engaging character. Now, when people talk about characters, they sometimes say this is a good character or this is a bad character, or they often use the word likable. What makes a character like? Now, I use that word, but I don't like it.
It's repetitive and redundant. It's repetitive and redundant. We certainly are entertaining, Mac.
Because a character, when you say a character is likable, you don't mean that you want to go have dinner with them. Like Darth Vader is a likable character, but you don't want to go have dinner with him. Maybe you do. I don't know. But what I'm talking about is an engaging character. What makes us interested in this character? What makes us want to watch, read, or listen to this character? And there are three main components to what makes a character engaging. That is competence, conflict, and agency. Now, there are some subcategories that I won't get into, but we tend to like funny characters, even if they're mean. We like attractive characters. We like cool characters. They have cool wings or cool horns. They just look cool. Their appearance and appearance. But the main three, competence, conflict, and agency, are what I'm going to talk about. And then I will tell you how you can use them. I will warn you, if you haven't watched Steins already, there will be some spoilers. So the first thing we're going to talk about is competency. What makes a character competent? Now, with all of these, there are some pitfalls you have to watch out for. If you make a character uber competent in everything they do, you can make the audience lose engagement, because any conflict that arises, we go, oh, this character will figure it out. They'll just
hold on a sec,
come up with some way to get out of this, or come up with some new power, or come up with some new magic spell, because they're so competent. And so that can lose engagement. But what you want to do is make your character very competent in one aspect. Now, Okarine is a very competent scientist. He basically invented a time machine on his own. But he's also got a power that he calls reading Steiner, where he can remember the last timeline when he jumps timelines. So it gives him this added competency that other characters don't have. But in other ways, he is very incompetent. Social skills, among other things, which I will get to later when we talk about character flaws. The next thing I want to talk about is conflict. If you have a character with many conflicts, then they can be engaging. Notably, if these conflicts arise through no fault of their own. However, again, there are some pitfalls to watch out for. You don't want to make your character a victim character. Oh, they lost their job, so their wife left them, and she took the dog, but he got hit by a car, and then he couldn't pay the bills, so he got kicked out of his apartment, and on and on. Those aren't really conflicts. And that a few things that happen to a character we can put up with, but if it's over and over and over and over, we don't find ourselves sympathetic with a character. We find ourselves disengaging with that character. So between competence and conflict, there are some pitfalls to watch out for. However, with the third component that we will discuss, agency, you can almost not give your character too much agency. You don't have to worry about this one. Give them all the agency in the world. Now, what we mean by agency is that they are proactive, that there is something that they want. They are after something. And in this case, Rintaro Okabe, Okarine, from beginning to the end of the first season, he is always after something. If it's new technology at first, building up his future gadget laboratories with more and more assistance. Later on, it's, spoiler alert, when his surrogate sister dies and he has to jump from timeline to timeline to timeline trying to save her. We want the character to always have something tangible to go after. It could be some MacGuffin that's as simple as a magic tablet on the other side of the world, or a volcano where they have to drop a ring. But it could be something even simpler, like a drink of water. All this character wants is a drink of water, and we will watch them through a scene trying to get this drink of water. Now, that's probably not a strong enough conflict to carry through an entire series, let alone an entire episode, but it will do a good job for one scene when they're just trying to get something. So Okarine has strong agency. He is always going after something, and he often doesn't let things get in his way. So that's really engaging for us. He wants something, he'll go after it, regardless of the consequences, especially at first. He's going after the time machine. He's going to build more gadgets, find more ways to get his time machine running, even while CERN and other forces are going against him. And then, when he finds out that his hubris has caused a terrible calamity in the death of his surrogate sister, he then goes after that with everything he can, and we watch him struggle over and over, basically to the point of breaking, which is very engaging. Someone who wants something so desperately and has to go after it and fails and fails and keeps trying. The reason this gets us so engaged is because we end up rooting for these characters if we are engaged with them, and we want to see them proceed and see them get what they want. The last thing I want to talk about with Okarine is flaws. Good characters have flaws. Again, like uber competent characters, if a character has no flaws, it's hard for us to engage with that character because they're just so perfect. And for most of us, I mean, I can easily relate to a perfect character, but a lot of people can't. Most audiences can't. So when you're watching a perfect character that is uber competent, it gets very boring. There's nothing to engage with. But a character with flaws can be very, very engaging. And now these flaws can take many forms. Drug abuse, incompetence in social situations like Okarine or various others. A common flaw is arrogance. We see this in a lot of characters, and they become mean jerks. But Okarine is arrogant, but never becomes a mean jerk. His arrogance is often played off for laughs, but when we see his actions, we kind of see the underpinning of this insecurity. So we know the arrogance is more of a show, and we see this towards the end very, very well when he breaks and he kind of throws away all his arrogance and almost admits it was just a show. He is the humble narcissist, which is a very interesting kind of oxymoron of a character. And so it makes us very engaged with this character. So how do we use this if we are writing or creating a character? Well, one of the things when we look at a lot of tips from writers and things writers do is we see lists and we see formulas. And this doesn't mean go down the list and check. Okay, is he competent? Check. Does he have conflict? Check. Does he have agency? Check. That one you do want to check. And probably conflict too. And competency. But when someone is reading your work or you're rereading, you're proofreading, and you find yourself having certain emotions, I don't engage with this character, or you say, I'm bored by this character, or I'm not excited by this character, or this character is annoying to me. This is the time to go look at these lists and say, okay, I'm bored by this character. Why is that? Oh, because this character has no agency. They're not going after something that they want. They're just kind of living a day. They're just going from one thing to the next, or even worse, a different character is pulling them along, making them do what that character wants. So that character has all the agency. But when you look back and you figure out, okay, this is the emotion I'm feeling. This character is annoying. Well, maybe it's because they're uber competent. They're annoying. They're too perfect. They have no flaws. There's nothing this character can't do. So I'm annoyed by that. I'm annoyed by their competence. You find that emotion, and then you look at these lists and formulas and figure out why that emotion is being triggered. And when we look at those lists, we see Okarine checks off everything we want in a character. He's a very engaging character, and he's even funny and attractive. So he checks off a lot of boxes, basically all the boxes. And that is why Rintaro Okabe, or Okarine, or Hoouin Kyouma is the best character ever. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or want to tell us how your favorite character stacks up, do so in the comments below. Or you can join us on Discord. There's a link in the description. Bye for now.
This is animation. Are you ready?